any kind of a business, you want it to judge performance, and performance is what which is going to be first thing which is going to be measured against time, how I'm performing against this month versus last month, etc. Now today what we are going to do is we are going to take a problem statement. We have a sales data which is city wise and customer wise, and we need to analyze and judge its performance against time. And what we are going to do is we are going to today focus mostly on the time dimension, not across cities and customer. That's you know how to analyze the data across various dimensions. So we are going to focus on time. And what we are going to do here today. So we are trying to compare the data of sales quantity year on year versus quarter on quarter, month on month, week on week, or day on day. So in this webinar, looking at the time which we have, we will more focus on year on year and week on week, and rest of the stuff is pretty much same. And as the webinar progress, we will let you know how those things works in a similar manner. So Power BI is a very powerful tool, and time intelligence is another one thing which has been provided. Time intelligence works best if we have a well configured date calendar, and that is from where we are going to start in today's webinar, the date calendar. And if you don't use time intelligence, there is still that you can do the comparison, and that's where the rank is going to come pretty handy. So we are going to see how it can actually help us. So all of you are on mute. Keep on posting your questions on the chat. At the end of webinar, whenever time we are left out with, we will try to take few questions. So now I will jump onto Power BI, and in Power BI, I have already loaded a sales data, and just we'll have a brief look at the sales data. I have this order number, item ID, customer ID, city ID data, and I have sales dates. Which starting from 2018, and this is going till couple of days back, and so we can sort this in and check that out. It's there till 17th of April, and then we have quantity, price, COGS, and discount percentage. This is a quick normalized data in the star schema where we have city and other dimensions also, but right now today our focus is time and how we analyze with it. So we will go ahead. Now the first and foremost important thing which we are going to do, and this is what my advice is, that you should always have a template ready with your date calendar of your organization, and you should always use that. And so I'm going to create a date calendar, and what I've done is to make this process faster. I have already taken out and written some steps to do it faster so that we can quickly look at more and more stuff. So I'm going to create a new table, and it is available under table tool. And I am right now into the data model view, and I'm going to create a calendar, and I have an option to create calendar using calendar or calendar auto. Right now I'm using calendar, and I'm giving a date which is start, and I know my date which I'm planning to start. I could have used min date, means a min from sales date. That was another option, and I could have ended on the max date, but I'm ending it today, and this ending at today has a perspective which we'll discuss as we progress. I press enter, and it is going to create a date calendar for me. As you can see, we have a date calendar which is ready, and you can see this has been marked as a date, and we do have a hierarchy for it. But now we are going to do one more thing, which is we are going to make it as a date table. And as soon as we make it date table, you will see certain changes, and I'm knowingly showing you date hierarchy because of that reason. So we go here and we say, okay, this is our date column. So maybe if you're on a live connection, you are bringing in your date table from there. So this validation is which is going to tell you whether you have all the continuous date or not. And having continuous date is pretty important for time intelligence, and that's where the time intelligence will be able to help you out. And if you don't have continuous dates, it's not going to be pretty effective, and you get wrong results. So let it make it as time, and as soon as you see this become a date calendar, it has marked it as a key, and that's the difference. And what will you not able to do in such case is now date.date, date.quarter, date.month, or date.year is not available, no more available for you. So you have to use a year function or a month function, or you have to use the format command, and that's what we are going to use here. So this is first thing which I'm going to do is today, and this is some of the users which actually manipulates how to display the data for today. They use it pretty much to do this. So we are going to have this could be really helpful to have this year, today, or this month kind of a stuff you have. And let's sort it descending to see what does it do for us. Is it's create as a today and rest of the dates as date, and this is a text field, and I'm knowingly created this formula. If you see, I've appended a text at the end of it to make the entire column with the same data type. Now this column, because it's a text, is not going to sort, and that's where come the very important and handy feature, sort by column. It's available in the column tool in the March version, and then we are going to say go and sort it on dates, and as it is on the same level at dates, it is going to do it. But if you create this year or something like that, you need to be a bit more cautious. It might not take date as your sort column. Now we are going to create few more stuff, and when I'm creating it, I'm going to explain you what is the importance of those things. So now we learn another most important command format when we create this month year, and this month year is 3M for if you want to have Jan Feb, which is 3-digit, and if you want to have complete January February, you can use 4M. And again, this is a text, it's not going to sort it, so we need a sort column. And that's very the beauty with this month year kind of a concept, that if we take at the end of YY, so YYY MM format, it is actually sortable. So if I use this column directly, I don't have to sort, but I don't want that. I actually want month year to be shown. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to define this again as a sort column, month year sort. So we will create month rank, and importance of this month rank I'll tell you once we progress. It will especially come handy for the people who don't have a standard calendar. Maybe you have a 28 days month, and that's where your time intelligence functions, which we are trying to use in this one, may not help you. And this is going to come pretty handy, and that's what we are going to, when we are going to look at week, we are going to showcase that to you. And then we have already sorted the column. We are going to create a year, and I'm knowingly creating year as a text column because I wanted to show you certain things. What will happen if we keep it as a text? So we have year also ready. Now the things which I wanted to show, quite a few things have already been set up, but we will create a calendar which is more comprehensive. We now will go and create some week part of it, and then week is not so weak, though time intelligence have not very good support on the week, but we will do it. And then we will see some more powerful features which Power BI offers in terms of, you know, how we can get this week start date, end date, week number, and etc. So what this is what we have to understand now, how we are creating. So we have a date, and we wanted a Monday to Sunday week. So what we are doing is we are taking the weekday and subtracting it. We are multiplying it by -1. So we are subtracting it from the date and then adding plus to get back on Monday. So, and I am knowingly not used date add function because date add function do work on the data which is date column, and it stops or ends at the place where you have the date in your calendar. So if your Monday is not part of your calendar, it will stop on other days. So plus and minus is much more safer there. They will allow you to go beyond that boundaries. Another new column, we are having a week end date, and the reason why I'm creating, quite a few of you users use this week start and week end date, and then you have a question which year it should fall. So you can decide week start, you can choose, or week end you can choose. You can take out again year from it, week year, which we are going to again build up later. So which year it should fall can be either decided with the start date or can be decided with the end date. So these is very powerful things which you can use. Now let's go and create something known as week number. So it's a function provided by Power BI. So we use simply the week number. It is going to give us 52 or 53 weeks what we have. But now this is the column which I cannot sort my weeks because I have week across years and I would like to analyze them across year. I would like my sorting to be correct across years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a week which is year and week, just like we've created month and week. And sometime Power BI, if you use W, might not give you 0102 kind of stuff. So what I've done is I have taken this one and said if it is week number is less than 10, then I'm multiplying my year by 10 here, and then I have just appended my week number with it. So I made it a text again. I went ahead and say if it is greater than 10, then just taken the year and appended it. So from 11, so 10, 11, 12, just getting appended into it. And this is going to create a week number for me across year, which is basically I can see in a particular order. And as well as now this is what I'm going to do, because I wanted this week rank, and I want something which is across year uniquely identified in terms of week, and that's where I created. I could have done that on week start date also and week end date. That's how we created it. But for some of you users which might have like this week number kind of a stuff with you, so you can use that also. Now, how we've created this rank is again pretty powerful function. As we are creating it as a column, you can see the first parameter is what we are asking to take the complete table inside it, and then what we have done, the second stuff is we have taken a parameter which is week start date, and we have sorted ascending and tens. So this is how we are going to use it. And then some of you users sometimes wants a week name which is driven by part of the start date or part of the end date, or maybe it comes out of start date and end date. We are going to make it a combined one with the help of both start date and end date. So let it create a new column for us. Let me press it again. So now with this step, we will complete our calendar. So a very good step in Power BI or in any business analytics, that you complete your data modeling prior to you start some kind of a visualization. You should make sure your calendar table, your dimension table are in place, and the relations have been created correctly. I preferably try to have a star schema model. So now we got this new column, and this star schema is one of the recommendation if you look at the Power BI documentation from Microsoft. So we got this, and we are going to have a sort column on week start date. I could have used week rank, but I'm using week start date. Week end date, week start date, and week rank are all three at the same level. And before we move into our next part of the demo, I'll just do one thing, that I've created this as descending. I'm going to change it as ascending, because if we have a month where we are going to use max, we wanted the current one to be the max. So month rank we have again created in a similar manner. Again, you can see the complete dates have been taken in, and we have taken in month year sort column and created this rank. So now our date calendar is complete, what we wanted to use for today. So the next step is creating relationships. So we will go ahead and join our dates. So you could go in the relationship one. Either way, you can drag from this direction or that direction, and then you should get a one-to-many perfect relationship. Here it is, one-to-many, perfect. This is what we need, and we should try as long as possible in Power BI. We create one-to-many kind of a relationship with our transaction tables. That will help you to give the things in a better manner. So now let's go ahead and try to do something. So what we are going to do is, first we are going to try to do analysis along with the year. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a table visual. Let me drag it a bit down. Make it a bit bigger. Okay, so we have now year. I'm going to put it into this one. And we will put another argument which is sales quantity. Okay, so it's ready. Now what we are going to do is we are going to quickly create few measures. So the measures, to create those measures, what we are going to use is total YTD. We have functions like total YTD, dates YTD, and we are going to use both of them. Similarly, for month, quarter, we have dates MTD and dates QTD. For quarter, similarly, we have total MTD and total QTD. The how we are going to use this total YTDs. Total YTD can take a few parameters. One of them is your measure, which you are going to have it. Then it's take a date column. It can take filters, and it will also take year and date. So let it come out. I'll just, seems like it's a bit slow. So when we give this date and parameter, which I'm going to show it to you, so date and it means where my year is going to end. It doesn't mean that my year till date is starting in reverse manner. So let's say if I started giving a year end date of, let's say, 31st March, so it just means that my year will start from 1st of April and it's going to end at 31st March. So YTD should start from 1st of April. So let's say if we would have been doing for a month of April, it will only give us the month of April data right now if we create a year like that. So we're going to paste the script what we have here. So So we have created this total YTD column now, and I'm going to create another one. Let me go back and create one more, and then I'll explain you again. Just my system is running slow. Let me, I have stopped few things. Okay, now it's responding better. Let me see if the measure is created. Okay, it's not created. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create it again. I'm going to explain you how I've done it. So we're going to take this YTD, and total YTD is the one which we are trying to create. So again, in total YTD, what we wanted to have is we can have another filter column out here, and then this is the year end date. We can actually give something like 12/31, which is right now optional for us because we are on the calendar year, but we can actually have a year end date like March 31st or something like that, which essentially means that where my year is going to end. And right now we don't want to give the parameter which we have given is we have given our measure, which is sum of order quantity, and then we have given date from our date calendar, and that's where we need the continuous date, the best way to make this function works. And the other alternate is dates YTD, where we can use it with calculate, which we are going to use it in a later part of our this one. I'm going to create another measure out here. So this measure is, now understand the difference between the last measure and this measure, and here we could have used sample last year instead of what we are doing here in the date add. So the second parameter what we are doing is we are moving our entire calendar a year back. So we are saying date add and we are subtracting a year from it to move our entire calendar a year back. The other function which you could have used here instead of this one is sample last period last year, and you could have actually got the similar kind of input. And even if you don't want the YTD function, you could have simply use the date add in the calculate, which is make you we're going to create a trailing measure for you. And one more thing which we are going to use, which we are going to use previous year, and we are going to see how previous year is different from these two. So what we are going to do is we are going to add this third function, which is previous year for us. And let's now add all these functions. So in the previous year, it's very simple. Again, we are using calculate. We are giving a measure, which is sum of order quantity. Then previous year, again, needs a dates. So we are giving it. Now we have these three measures ready, and let's add it to our visual. So we have added this YTD, LYTD, and previous year. Okay. And as you can see that when I've uses this LYTD, it has actually not given a same one because we have last year till April, and that's where our date calendar is playing role. And you remember we have taken our date calendar till April only, till today only, and that's where it is playing a role to give the date which is still April only. So we are getting dates still April in last year, so that's why it's not giving us complete 2019, and we have not put any filter, and that's where the role of stopping your calendar to a particular date is playing a role. Now, but if you look previous year function, it behaves a bit differently. It's actually has given the complete date range to the last year, and we are getting the last year. So you have to when you are giving using YTD and when you are using this previous year, it's going to make difference how it behave with calendar. And right now we have not used the calendar or the slicer to stop the data. And what we are going to do is we are going to add another visual to understand these two functions better. So we are going to take month here, and you can see this month here is automatically sorted, even though it's a text. As you all can see, it's already sorted correctly. We have nothing to do that. And then what we are going to do is we are going to take quantity, and as soon as we take quantity inside this visual is going to auto arrange itself to show the data which is available. And then yes, we want it to have YTD, and this will explain you the functionality of YTD, how better it behaves. So you can see that this keep on adding till the year end, and at the year end it will reset. So if you have a year which is ending at March, it will reset in April. So same, that's where your YTD will. So if you have a year which is ending at some other month, you can use that as a parameter which we have discussed in. Now everything seems fine to us. It's very good. The YTD is also behaving correctly, and it has given us last year pretty good. But this is calendar which we have created is not the ideal scenario. It might not end at today. Most of our organization might have budgets, target which is going to land, or we might end up creating a calendar whatever we require. We don't want to change it. So let's do what happens if our calendar having future dates. So 2020 12, the second parameter is month, third parameter is the date. So this is how calendar date function works. So let's give this, and now we have additional dates. And as soon as we have these additional date till December, if we go back to our visual, you will see difference. This LYTD quantity is no more giving us last year till April data. We were getting our data till April. And this is the scenario where we now need to have a date. We need to control our calendar till what place we want it to display. Two options, and that should be your preferred option. So one of the options which I personally prefer is controlling all the dates on the page. So I would go ahead and add a date as a page filter. And what is the advantage and disadvantage? We'll see it. And then what I'm going to do is, there's a very powerful feature of relative date. And I'm saying is in last, including today, 3 years. That's what the data I have in this page. And I say years, and I say apply filter. And you again see that my YTD has actually went ahead and become correct. So the number has again adjusted itself back because now we have a date. Now the other option which we have, and then we are going to create a slicer, and we are going to observe this behavior also. Put date on it. The first thing which you will see, though, we have date of December, but we have a page level filter, so it have restricted it. I don't need a page level filter right now. Let's see what happens. Again, the YTD values have gone back. So let's go ahead and change it. I could have typed, I could actually scroll, but let's go ahead and choose today's date. Okay, now that today which we have created, we could have actually make that as a filter for slicer to set the end date or something. So less than equal to this one, or less than equal to certain dates. Those are some few things you can do. But now again, once we use this date slicer, we again can see this YTD has started behaving correctly. So these are the ideal situations where you can use a date slicer, and date slicer is going to control your dates, and you can have correct value of YTD, QTD, MTD, etc. But this could not be the scenario. You might not have a calendar which is stopping at today, and you might not be allowed to have a date again. What should you do in that scenario? So yes, this is not the preferred or measure which I should suggest to you, but in spite of that, all these we can still create YTD, and I'm calling it forced YTD because now we are forced in a situation we are not allowed to use the slicer or the page level filter, but still we wanted to have a YTD which is behaving correctly. And there are two things which you can do here. Now, not only you can use today instead of today. So we are creating a variable which is going to act as a limiting factor to our calculation. We could have used a maxx, and we could have used order table, and then we would have used order date. We called it sales date. Okay, and we could have limited this. So now let's say if you have data till March only or February also, so then in that case you would not even want to display last year till that place. So we can use this, and for last year we have to again adjust it, but right now for simplicity let's keep it today. I'll tell you how to do that one. And I have knowingly commented this total YTD, and you can see I've now started using dates YTD, and dates YTD have a much more easy to use when it comes to calculate function. So we are giving again a measure into the calculate, and we have given dates YTD as one of the parameters, and we have given again one more filter which is my date is less than equal to max date. Okay, so what it is going to do is not only it's going to get the dates YTD, but it's going to restrict it if there are more data than today. And then if you would have wanted to use total YTD inside calculate, one way would have been, because there is a parameter which you could have given here as the third parameter to restrict it, but if you want to use it with calculate, I've tested it out, you need to use filter. Fine, we've done with this measure, so we will go ahead and create one more. So now we will force this thing on LYTD also. So let's have one more measure, and now we will go ahead and see how they behave differently. And I have knowingly kept this function like this, not using date. First of all, date will not work on today. It need a date column to be parts. So let's understand what we are doing here. So we have taken this is date function which we have seen in the calendar also. It required 3 parameter: year, month, and date. And what we have given, we have taken the date of today and subtracted 1 from it. And this is how you can make this function, date function itself, as a date add function, and you can give month here. Again, you can subtract any number from month, and even if you cross the year, it do take care that, like if you subtract more than 12, 13 and it has to go to the last year, it will adjust the year also. And similarly, you can subtract day here. If you want to, let's say I want to create 1 day behind, I could have done 1 - 1 here, or I can say today -1 also, because we can simply subtract 1. So if I need to do yesterday, I simply say today -1. And what we are doing here is, again, we are saying date is less than equal to max. So now this max is a year behind for us. And again, dates YTD, we have passed this date, which is moving our calendar a year back, and calculate, we have given a measure, which is sum of order quantity. So our measure is ready. So let's see how does it behave differently. So again, first we will take YTD. Okay, we have to take in the same table so that we can compare. Now again, you can see that it has adjusted itself the last year. The calculation got adjusted till the year, and this again YTD. And even if we would have some more dates in YTD, it would have ignored it, would have restricted it till today. So that's where it's especially helpful if you have budget which is there in future and still you don't want to see, because you are going to see actual till today and you are going to want to see budget till today. That's where it's going to help. And that's, again, we can see our YTD number has last year YTD number is also adjusted for this one. So this is what we wanted to do for year part of it. So we have these powerful functions: total YTD, dates YTD. We can use those. For quarter, you have total QTD, dates QTD. Month, you have months QTD and dates QTD. Date MTD, you have the function date MTD out there, so you can use those. Now what we are going to do is, what happens if I'm not having time intelligence with me? So I have a year which is 28 days month and 13 period. It's not the standard year, and time intelligence is not going to help me out there because it is for standard years. So what should I do in that case? So you just have to make sure that your year is 1 year. You have one number for your complete year. And this is what you can do, which we are going to do here. And now we are not talking about YTD. We are talking right now here about this year versus last year. And at the end of this demonstration, I'll tell you how you can play around and get these YTD work for those stuff also. So let's understand what this is doing. And this is pretty important to understand, the same thing which we are going to do in rank also. So we have in the calculate as given a measure, so sum of order quantity. Then we are saying filter all dates, and this is very important that you have your, even if you have data at year level, month level, or quarter level, get that out into a separate table. Create that as a table. If possible, have dates and create date calendar. If you don't have date calendar, no worries, create that as a separate table, because this is how we are going to use this all or all selected to make sure every other filter on this table get removed. And then we are seeing my year should be equal to max year. How does it going to behave? So if you have not selected anything, if let's say you want to put it on card, then what will happen? It will take the year from the calendar, which is max year. In our case, is going to be 2020. If we have put some slicer, it is going to take it from there. And
small request. A request has come in to increase the font size a little bit.
Okay. Okay, let me see. Somehow I am unable to increase. Something has increased. Yes. Okay. Yes, we got it. So now this is really, and I'll go ahead and actually, you guys have requested. Let me see if I can increase the font size for this one also, because this is what is very important function. Let's see if I can see font somewhere. Search for size instead of font. Let's increase it. Okay, so we were in this year. Let's try to understand this year, because this is one of the important way we do it. So if you have not selected anything, or you're putting somewhere where there's no filter, so because we are using the calendar date here to filter it, so it's going to take the last date from there. But what happens when I put it here in this kind of a scenario where there is a year? So this is the year, which is max year. So every row, this is what we call row context in Power BI. You will many times heard when you going to use Power BI that this is the row context which you need. So this row context is going to force 2018 as a filter, and then 2019 is for this row is going to be the filter, and 2020 is going to be the filter for this row. So the next date is max year is going to be row wise, this 2018, 2019, and 2020, and that's where my row is going to filter it. So what I'm going to do, as I increase the font, I'll reduce this visual a bit. Okay, we anyway don't need it, and I'm going to create now last year for you also, and this is pretty going to be simple because we got this year with max. Only thing we are going to use for the last year is we going to subtract 1. So very simple stuff. We are going to create one more measure, and then we will see. And I am knowingly calling it this year and last year. I've told you I'm not going to stop it till date, but because in this year we have data till April, it is definitely going to stop there. But it doesn't mean that actually it's going to give you YTD. It's actually going to give you this year complete. So let it come. Okay. So fine, again same stuff. We are filtering all the dates, date year, max of date of year, and -1. This is what is going to give us last year. Done. And we are now going to add these two parameters, this year and last year, into our Power BI taking some time. So what we are going to do is after this one is we are going to repeat the same stuff for week, and in case of week again we have created those ranks which is going to enable us to do this things in the similar manner. Okay, so I wanted to show you this array, and that's why I'm knowingly kept the data type of year as varchar, and we click on this one and look at the array, it is going to say us that this minus function is not going to work. So when I edit it, it's going to say that this is not text type. The advantage of having it as a text type, that if I add to a table, it is not going to ask me to say unsummarize, because if it's a numeric type, the first thing it will say it is make it unsummarize. So what we are going to do is we are going to click on this year measure, sorry, the year column, and we are going to change its data type to number. So from text, we are going to change it to whole number. Let it come. And as soon as we will see that this calculation will start appearing and we will get the calculations correctly done. And as you can see, the table is started appearing. Meanwhile, just to save time, I'll just keep this here calculation ready with me. We'll create new images. Power BI is responding a bit slow. So you can see this year calculations again. This is same, and that's why I call it that I'm going to get last year. I'm not going to get YTD in this case. So you can see correctly the last year has come out 2018. This is what we have done. We have the number, and this is what 2018 number is there, and they have actually a year behind now with us. And so without even using the time intelligence, we got the same result for this year versus last year. Now we are going to create few more new measures. Let me click outside to get this. Okay, so we are going to create few more new measures, and now they are all about week. So though week we don't have much support on time intelligence, but we can get week on week comparison, WTD, week till date. Also, we can get pretty easily using the time these rank functions and weekday function. Very importantly, we can combine these two and do. So right now we will try to do this week versus last week comparison. So similar, so here we are going to use here, and to do is what we have done: calculate order quantity. Again, all the dates we are taking from the date calendar, week rank, and max of week rank again. So it should give us the max of week rank. If we don't use a date filter, it will actually take us till the year end, and then we create this filter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of these visuals so that we can save some refresh time. Somehow because Power BI is responding slowly, and we are going to shift the page also. Meanwhile, while Power BI is creating this measure, we will have this last week, and again last week is just one minus one from the rank. So let's delete this one and delete this one also. So we are going to have this week versus last week, and then we are going to create we are going to shift to the next page. We don't need these visuals anymore. So last week, so this we have created this week versus last week. Now let's go and plot this week and last week again. For the last week, what we have done, we have used the week rank, and we say it's equal to max of last week rank and subtracted 1 from it so that we get it. And we have created a week out here, which is what we wanted to use here. Let's make it a bit bigger. I think I should increase the font for you guys to see it. And in this visual, we are going to use this week versus last week. So let it change the size, and then what we are going to do is we are going to create week on week difference. And as you can see, this is my this week and this is my last week, and this is just following the week. And just to verify it, we can do is we can also add quantity out here. So we got our stuff in. Now what we are going to do is we are going to do this week on week comparison. Okay, so we are going to create a measure, and we are going to create it in two manners. So we will use divide function. This is the first way, you might have seen many places. So we say this week comma last week, and we use -1. And there is a disadvantage of doing this, and this is pretty fast to do. And let's see what will happen if we use this one. So if we go ahead and use this one, add into the table, you see that if we do not handle it properly, it's going to give us -1, because divide is going to give us 0 when it is not we have not passed the parameter by default to set it to something. So what we are going to do is we are going to use this traditional way of our formula is this week minus last week is what we are going to have in top, and then we are not going to need this -1, so we are going to remove it. And we are going to use this w. Now you can see this is pretty much correct what we needed, and we are going to make this data type as %. So you don't, just like Excel, you don't need to multiply it by 100. You can just simply go and change the data type to %, and then it will change. So you now have the percentage change with you, so whatever you needed. So this is week versus week. So now where it is important, this is same if you don't have the standard quarter. So if your quarters are from Jan to March, April to June, then you can pretty much go ahead and use dates QTD or total QTD, even though they are not first or second quarter, they may be third quarter or fourth quarter. But what happens if your year start from, let's say, August and go till July, you will able to use the YTD function because it allows you end date, but your quarters will not be same. And that's where this rank can use to get you the correct quarters. And same way, if your months are 28 days, 13 period, again, this is going to help you out. So now what we are going to do is, this is last thing, which is force YTD. And so we will go back to this page again, and we are going to create this year and year wise sales again. And we are going to create one measure again. Let's see why we wanted to do it. So we talked about this, that we can create YTD functions even we don't have, but you have observed this YTD is only YTD for this year. When we went to the last year, in the past year, it is still showing me all the complete year. I may have requirement that if this year is till April, everything else in the past should be till April, even if I'm looking 10 year backs, 5 year backs, 3 years back. So what we have done is we have done one change. Now we are saying here, take a max of month, and instead of max of month, you could have taken, if you can create let's say day of year, you could have taken max of day of year. In case of week, you can take week number. It will create WTD for you. Okay, week till date it will create for you. So what we are saying is that take this month, and now I'm going to restrict, I'm putting one more filter. I'm going to say month is less than my max month. So now I'm not more saying it's less than today. So I'm not restricting it for today. Complete YTD calculation, I'm saying be less than 4 in this case, or be less than 5, or be less than 10. And if you don't have a standard calendar, means if your year is starting from April, you have to do a bit of change to get the month number, and it should be part of your calendar to have, let's say, what is my month number, and then we are going to take it. And let us see if I put this calculation here. This is force YTD2, it will add it, and then we will, this is the last item of the day, and then we will be left out with around 5 minutes. So if we see it now, the new measure, now you see the difference. What you're seeing as a difference out here is that your YTD measure across the years is only considering data till April. It is no more taking data which is complete. So this is how you do it. Same way, if I would have to achieve WTD in the week calculation, I would have used week number and say less than equal to, and it would have actually given me WTD along with my current calculation. Okay, so guys, this is what all I wanted to show to all of you in this time intelligence demo, and I thank you for all your participation. Now we have a few minutes left out, and I will ask Harish to see if there are a few questions and if we can answer them right now.
Hey Amit, I have the first question. We have a lot of questions. In fact, I'm going to pick up the first one. Stephanie from San Francisco. Our question is: I have a calendar from April to March. How can I create sort column for that to make April as the first month and March as the last month?
Okay, so what we are going to do is I'm going to show you some couple of things which is going to achieve this. So if I, let's say I wanted to make April as my month, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new column first of all, and this is what I'm planning to do is I'm going to create a start of year. And my calendar, because it is not starting from April, in such case you should start your calendar from April. So I'm going to create a start of year function. This is again very powerful function which is going to give you, and you give a date out here, start of year, dates dot date, and then we say okay, my year is going to end at 331. So what is going to be my start of year? Okay, so this is one thing which I'm going to do, that I'm going to create a start of year, and now my month here I need to sort upon, so I can create a new. So we right now simply taken the month, but not what we can do right now is we are going to do a bit of calculation around it. So we create a different kind of a sort column out here. So sort month is now going to be, I'm going to take where and call it month is equal to, and I just to differentiate I keep it like this. So I have month which is coming out from date again. So now this is going to give me a month which is 4 for the April, but I don't want April as a 4. So what I'm going to do is, if month underscore month is less than 4, then return me underscore month minus 3. So else underscore month plus 3. So no, so if it is less, if it is greater than 4, let's subtract it. If it is less than, then let's add it. So the so that in that manner it will keep on shifting your months, and then you can use it as the sort column. And then you can again create your month year 2010 and append all those. You can do it. Okay, what is the next question, Harish? Do you have any other question?
Yeah,
I have one more question. This is Tomo from Chicago. How
Hmm.
can we get last 12 weeks rolling data for each week?
Okay. So now to get last 12 rolling weeks, what we are going to do is uh, we have created this week rank, and this week rank only is going to help us out. So simply let's do one thing. We copy this formula of this week. Hope you are able to see my screen. So we are going to copy this formula only, and we are going to make it a bit of change, and this is where again rank is going to come a bit healthy. Okay, so I'm not going to rename it right now, just to because we are left out with few minutes. Okay, I've taken the wrong calculation. No worries. I'm going to change it manually. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take week rank, and I'm going to say the week rank should be greater than and equal to max of week rank, max of week rank minus 12, and week rank should be less than and equal to max of week rank. And this should be giving us, so what we are saying, week rank should be greater than 12 weeks, minus we have done it, and then this is less than. So this is our rolling function, uh, which we have created, and we are going to add it on our table. So I know quite a few of you have few questions, but we are done with our time what we have allocated. We might not be able to take more questions, but what Harish and me are going to do is we are going to reply for some of those questions which might have remained unanswered for you. Thank you all for participating, taking out time on a Sunday morning, sorry, Saturday morning and Saturday evening. So thanks a lot for that, and thank you all of you who has shared these on various mediums on social media and participating in this. If you have more questions, you can send it to us. We will try if we can address some of those.
Thanks, everyone, and please stay safe.